Small steps count too. Sometimes the most heroic thing a person does is to make their bed. There is a version of a good day that looks very impressive from the outside. It has early mornings and completed lists. It has momentum and measurable progress. It has the feeling, at the end, of having moved something forward in a way the world can see. And then there is another kind of day. The kind most people, on most hard days, actually live. The kind where getting dressed feels like an achievement, where answering a single message takes more courage than it should, where the most significant thing you do before noon is to make a cup of tea and sit with it quietly without falling apart. I want to talk about that kind of day. I want to say plainly and without qualification that it counts. What we call ordinary. Most of us have a habit of sorting our actions into two piles. The first pile is the important one, the decisions that matter, the efforts that count, and the moments we'll remember. The second pile holds everything else, the mundane, the repetitive, the too small to mention. Washing your face goes in the second pile. Getting out of bed goes in the second pile. Eating something, moving from one room to another, keeping your appointment, and saying good morning to someone even though your heart isn't in it all, second pile. Unremarkable, not worth noting. But here is what that sorting system gets wrong. It was built for people who are healthy. When life is hard, truly hard, not merely inconvenient but hard, the second pile changes its nature entirely. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. The small becomes significant. What looks effortless from the outside can cost nearly everything a person has on the inside. And effort spent is effort spent, regardless of how it looks to someone who didn't have to spend it. The courage in small things. Think about what it actually takes on a difficult morning to do the quiet things. To wash your face is to say, I am still tending to myself. To make the bed is to say, I will bring a little order to my world, even when it doesn't feel orderly. To eat breakfast is to say, my body matters, and I will care for it, even when caring feels like too much. To get dressed and leave the house when every part of you wants to stay hidden, that is not a small thing. That is a person choosing to remain in the world. Quietly, without applause, but choosing it nonetheless. We don't usually call these things courage, but I think we should. Courage is not the absence of resistance, it is moving forward despite it. And some mornings, pulling back the covers is the most honest act of resistance there is. The long game. Here is something worth holding on to. The people who come through hard times are almost never the ones who make one magnificent leap from struggle to wholeness. That leap is a story we tell afterward, when we smooth the edges off what actually happened. What actually happened, almost always, was smaller, slower, and less cinematic than that. It was one ordinary morning after another, one small step, then another, then another. 100 unremarkable days strung together became a life moving forward. That is not a lesser version of healing. That is what healing actually looks like from the inside, quiet, incremental, and easy to underestimate as it happens. So if today's step is small, that doesn't mean today is small. It means you are in the middle of something real, doing the real work, one honest morning at a time. What to do with a voice that disagrees? There may be a voice, and most of us have it, that finds all of this unconvincing. It says, that's a nice thought, but other people are doing more. Other people aren't counting getting dressed as an accomplishment. Other people are further along, more together, and more capable of turning their pain into something productive. That voice is not entirely wrong. Other people are doing more, but they are not carrying what you are carrying. You are not in a race. You are not being compared to someone at a different point in a different life with a different history. You are only here in your own morning, doing what you can with what you have. And what you can do today is enough. Not because the bar is low, because the bar is yours and only yours, and it is set exactly where it needs to be for this moment. Before this day asks anything of you, before the list, the obligations, and the quiet pressure of everything still undone, I want you to hear this. The step you take counts today, even if it is the smallest step you have ever taken, even if no one sees it, even if you can't quite remember what it was by tomorrow. It counts because you took it, because it cost you something, because it moved you, however slightly, towards still being here and still trying. That is nothing. Small, honest steps build lives worth living.